Do you have a child that has been diagnosed with or suspected of having Asperger's disorder? I'm Dr. Roy Picard, and my office is in Shelby Township, Michigan. I'm a licensed doctor of chiropractic, but what I utilize in my office is chiropractic neurology, functional endocrinology, nutrition, and brain-based therapies. I became board eligible in chiropractic neurology back in 2006, and in 2008 I became a certified DAN doctor. Now DAN refers to Defeat Autism Now, and that was certified through the Autism Research Institute. My specialized postgraduate training, along with my 22 plus years in practice, is really important when it comes to working with children who have been diagnosed with Asperger's. I'm going to explain to you how the care that I offer allows these kids to reach their optimum level of physical, mental, social, behavioral, emotional, and academic performance. Concerns for those children diagnosed with Asperger's disorder are generally speaking in regards to the nonverbal or lack of social understanding on their part. Often these kids will become frustrated with the inability to express themselves and with the inability to feel that they are not really being understood. Sometimes this frustration can lead to aggressiveness. The difficulties with social settings and nonverbal communication can often lead to very uncomfortable situations. People often judge those with Asperger's as being, let's say, different, and that can lead to any further attempts to socialize for that particular child. As a result of having an inability to see the whole picture, and because they tend to be more interested in the fine details and everything, it can be very difficult for these kids to communicate and difficult to socialize, which can lead to isolation, guilt, and even depression. Now, once they become aware that they are different, and if it's not handled properly, their lives can be ruined. Often, children with Asperger's lack the fluid or grace or coordination of other children their age. And depending upon the age of the child, they can often become the target for teasing, abuse, and bullying. Now, of course, most parents are thankful that their child is not severely autistic. However, they still share in the pain that their child experiences. Now, what, if anything, can be done for these kids? When you look at the brain as two hemispheres, let's say the right and the left, we begin to understand that each hemisphere is associated with different tasks or characteristics. In other words, one hemisphere is more associated with fine, detailed, analytical types of processes, whereas the other is more involved with social, nonverbal communication, we'll say big idea types of thinking and processes. These kids, along with others on the spectrum, have a common finding. It's known as the functional disconnection syndrome. The functional disconnection syndrome describes how a hemisphere or an area or lobe of the brain is not working to its full potential. And as a result, it's not firing in the same frequency as the other areas of the brain. To put it in another term, it is out of sync. Specific areas of the brain, when out of sync, are going to give you the symptoms associated with Asperger's disorder. So what I do is evaluate the brain to locate which specific areas are out of sync. And once determined, I can go ahead and recommend which activities and brain-based therapies are recommended to increase the function of the out of sync areas in the brain to restore proper function throughout the brain. When this is accomplished, you'll find that there's going to be a decrease in the symptoms often seen with Asperger's. Does it cure it? No. I'm not saying that I'm curing anything. But what if we're able to make the child more sociable, easier for them to communicate, perhaps even more coordinated? Now, anytime I'm working with the brain, I know how important it is for us to make sure that the brain is receiving the correct fuel so that it doesn't fatigue. The last thing you want is for an individual with the Asperger's disorder to fatigue their brain. So with proper testing, we can analyze body chemistry with the intent of making sure that the brain is getting the proper fuel. This part of the care is referred to as metabolic care. It's achieved by specific questions and specific types of lab work. Understanding what nutritional deficiencies exist in the body will allow you to change your child's diet to allow specific areas of the brain to function at their optimum level, allowing your child then to express their true potential, whether it's physically, mentally, socially, academically, and or behaviorally. If you are interested in finding out what can be done to help your child, then call my office and schedule a free consultation. During the consultation, I want you to tell me specifically what is going on with your child, what your child is going through, what you have tried to do to help, what has worked, what hasn't worked. I want to hear what your expectations are so that I know if they are realistic or not. I'm going to give you a greater understanding of what it is that I do, how I can help your child, the types of testing that has proven to be beneficial, the different care that has proven to help children like yours, as well as your responsibilities regarding home therapies, diet, and other lifestyle changes. Now, I'll try to answer all of your questions for you so that you can decide if this type of care is what you feel is best for your child. So again, if you would like to meet with me for a free consultation, this would be a really good place for us to begin. I wish you, your family, and of course your child, nothing but the very best.